Everyone, it's Brenda. Today I'm going to show you how to make pumpkins. Today I'm using this, it's Super Saver. I think it's Red Heart Super Saver.
Today I'm
you
going
can
to
use any thickness, like this is Hometown
Today
Super
I'm
Weight
going to
Bulky 6. I think that, and also I want you to think outside the box. Do you think this would make a pretty pumpkin? Here, let me zoom out for a few minutes. This Wool Easy color, it's a number 6. This is Coney Island. Do you think that'd make a pumpkin? Here's the pumpkin I made out of it. Isn't it the cutest little thing? I still gotta close it up. I've already got stuff and put a stem on it. But isn't that the cutest little thing? I made it bumpy on purpose. I think it looks more of like a gourd than a pumpkin, but I still think it'd be a pretty pumpkin. And my next pumpkin, I'm going to make it out of this red that I have left over from a toad I made. So let's get started. I know I keep on telling you make a magic ring. Well, I'm going to show you how to do it without a magic ring. You can do a magic ring if you feel comfortable. Make a slip knot to start out. Okay. I don't know why, but this had one thread that didn't want to go. Okay. Now I want you to chain up 2. 1, 2. Then in your first chain, I want you to do 8 single crochets. The single crochet is like you go into the first chain, grab some yarn, pull it through, grab some yarn, pull it through the 2 loops. Now I want you to do that 8 times. Okay, that's 2 in that first chain. Now see my tail's in the way? Just tuck it over and out of the way. It'll be alright. Because you can always just pull it and get it out of the way. Okay? Whoopsie. Let me get my thread pulled out here. A little tight. Need some thread. Plus it's on the wrong side. Oop. I have a pumpkin falling on the floor. Alright, back to what I was doing. Okay. That was 3, 4, I think. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might be a little tight in the hole, but you can do it. If it gets a little tight, like I'm been doing, all you gotta do is pull that over. Okay? And that made more room for my last one. Slip stitch to your first chain, first single crochet, which you just go into the 2 loops, grab some yarn, pull through, and pull through. Now I want you to chain 1, put 2 single crochets in the hole right below. Here, let me zoom in so you can see. Come on, focus camera. In that right there. The hole right underneath where you chain 1. 2 single crochets. Now if you want, you can put a stitch marker in your first single crochet so you know where it's at. But that's totally up to you. Now I want you to put 2 single crochets. Make sure you get both loops. 2 single crochets in each single crochet all the way around. So you should have a total of 16. Because 2 8s are 16. So 2 in each single crochet. 2 in each. We're almost done. I'm to the almost to the last one. Make sure that's my chain 1. Make sure you do not put any stitches in that chain 1. So slip stitch to your first single crochet and chain 1. I gotta grab some more yarn because it's really tight. For some reason this yarn don't want to come out very easily. So I want you 1 single crochet in that first chain. Okay, that first, right under where you chain 1, I want to put 1 single crochet. Put 2 in the next. 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 in the next, 2 in the next. And you do this any size yarn. Just use the needle that they asked for the yarn. So we're doing 1 and 2s. Now, if you happen to mess up at your count, don't worry. No one's going to know. This is very forgiving. No one's going to know that you didn't end up with the right number other than you. You'll never know. But you should always end with 2. If your count's right, you'll end up with 2 single crochets in that last stitch. Alright, let's slip stitch to the first stitch. Now, depending on how big you want your pumpkin, you continue around adding 1 single stitch each round. What I mean is, and we're going to do 1 single crochet like we did the last round. Now, a single crochet in the next stitch, so that's 2 in a row. 2 single crochets in a row. The next time we go around, we'll do 3, and the next we'll do 4 before we do 2 double crochets in the same stitch. You understand? I hope I'm making that clear. So like this round, we're doing 2, there's 1 single stitch, 2 single stitches. In the next stitch, we do 2 single crochets in the same stitch. 1 single crochet, next stitch, 1 single crochet, next stitch, 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Single crochet, a single crochet, and then 2. 1 thread, 2. Gotta pull out more yarn, sorry. Okay, single, a single, double, a single, and a double, single, and a double. Okay, now slip stitch to the first single crochet, chain 1. This round you'll do 3 singles. Okay, now I want my pumpkin to be little, so I'm going to go on to the next step. You continue and have your pumpkin as base as big around as you want. So this is basically a lot like the basket, but the only thing, we don't do the stitching in the back loop. This time you do a single crochet in each row. Each stitch, each single crochet gets a single crochet all the way around. And no, I didn't move my stitch marker up because I know it marks where I started. is now I'm going to, when I get to the beginning where I stitch chain 1, I'm going to skip it and do a continuous. Oopsie, that was a little tight. All the way around. And you continue this until you have the wall of your pumpkin the size you want. Okay? I'm going to continue to do this for a couple more rounds. Now see, I'm almost to my beginning where I started. And the next stitch, that's my chain 1 stitch, because see how it looks different? I'm going to skip it and just keep on going, and you have a continuous. I can just keep on going round and round and round without having to worry about slip stitching. That way you don't have that line. See how it's starting to curl up already? I've only gone around once. Okay, I got to pull out some more yarn. I'm going to move my yarn to the other side. Maybe that'll help. Pull out a lot of yarn. Okay. Just keep on going around and around and around. Next round, don't worry, I'm not going to do this forever. I'm just trying to give you the basis. Okay, but like I said, you can do this any size yarn you want. Okay, see my stitch marker marks the first where I started, so I want to get to it before I go to the next step. Okay, I think I got one more. Yep, one more stitch. That's what I thought. Okay, now I want you, the next step is when you get your pumpkin size as big as you want, you can make it long and narrow, or you just keep on doing singles all the way around. You can even now do fancy stitches if you want. Half double crochets, you can do X's or fancy stitches, whatever you want the sides of your pumpkin to look like. Okay, and when you get your sides the way you want, I want you to you do 2 single crochets together, which you, let me show you for those that don't know. Put your hook through the hole, through the first chain, grab some yarn, pull through, go through the next chain, next single crochet, put your hook through, grab some yarn, pull through. You should have 3 in the hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Now, and then you do, I usually do 5, depending on how big my pumpkin is, usually a 1/4 of the pumpkin before I do another 2 single crochets together, a decrease they call that. I usually do the 1/4 of the size of the pumpkin. Okay, so depending on how big or how little your pumpkin is, you do it the 1/4, do the decreases a 1/4 of the way. Okay, and then you do the single crochets. Okay, you can do the same thing. If you want to mark the force, you can, but decrease. Wait for another decrease. Now, see how it can be kind of hard to crochet when you're crocheting. See, I'm crocheting in the middle. What you can do, you can roll it and flip it so you're crocheting on the outside, and it makes it a lot easier. Okay, just flip it, and now I'm crocheting on the outside, and it's a lot easier. I don't have to crochet in that hole. Okay, another decrease. You just continue on decreasing. I'm probably not doing my decreases as often as I should, but I want to show you, just show you now. If you do your creases more often than you should, that's how I got these bumpies. I didn't do very many stitches up, and then I did decreases quickly because I didn't do very many stitches in my pumpkin. Like this one, the walls are not very high because I didn't go up very many like I usually would for a pumpkin, but I wanted to show you all the steps before, you know, and not have to sit around forever while I do a pumpkin. Now, see how my hole is getting bigger and bigger, smaller and smaller? Don't worry about your stitch marker being inside, because I'm going to flip it again. And what my gauge is, if I still can get my fingers inside, like I'm doing now, I'm holding it from the inside. Stick my tail in there. I don't worry about stuffing it yet. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing my decreases really close together because I just want to. Like I said, you can do whatever you want in your pumpkin this way, because I like my pumpkins to be different and not like everybody else's. Have character, different. Almost done. Now see my little hole? Now this is where I want to turn it back because I like this side better. It's totally up to you. You don't have to turn if you don't want to. And now since my hole is only this big, I would stuff it. And unfortunately, I don't have any stuffing real close to me. Go ahead and stuff it, and then you do what you do is continue doing decreases until your hole is very, very small, and then you just take a needle and close it. Close it up. Same with your tail, and there's your pumpkin. Now, I will show you how to make a stem. Okay, I'm back. I did find my stuffing in my brown yarn, so let's stuff this little pumpkin because I want to show you what I do. Just get some stuffing and just push it in there. Don't worry, you can't overstuff it because I'm going to show you how you can figure out if you've overstuffed. See how it's starting to bulge out and you see white in the holes? That's overstuffing. You don't want it to do that. And once you have the stuffing in there, you roll it. Let me back up out a little bit too close. Oops, wrong way, I'm sorry. You roll it. Roll it in your hands. And that distributes gets that stuffing distributed nice and even in your pumpkin. Or even I do this if I'm making gnomes, snowmen, bunnies, whatever. Okay. Now all you gotta do is grab your crochet hook, continue with your decreases, or you can grab a needle, sew it shut. It's totally up to you. Okay. I've done both ways. Oops. Popped that stitch, didn't I? Okay. In this last little bit, I would take a needle and sew it shut. And what I do is put my hook through the pumpkin to the tail that's sticking out. Grab that tail and pull it through. That way you don't have to sew that one in. Okay? So all I have to do in the extra tail, I just stick it inside. You don't have to cut it off. So all I have to do is sew this one. Sew the little hole shut, and there's your pumpkin. Take my stitch marker out. So now let's go on to the making the stem. There's a couple ways to make the stem. Just slip knot and get some fluff off my. I want to show you both ways, okay? Now, crochet up like, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It just depends on how big of a pumpkin you have. Now, skip the first chain. In the second chain, do a single crochet. Do a single crochet all the way back down. Gotta get some more yarn, sorry. And see how it curls? You can force it to curl even more if you want. You see how it's curling? And that's one way. And now you just sew it to the top of your pumpkin. You just sew it. And there, that's one way. Okay? Isn't that cute how that curls? Okay, that's one way. Now, let me pull this all out. Just get a slip stitch, slip knot. Okay, chain up 2. Do 3 single crochets in that first chain that you did. Now I want you to slip stitch to the first. I'm making mine really loose. I usually make my stitches really tight, but I want you to be able to see. It's hard to see, I know, this brown. slip stitch to your first single crochet. Yep. Get through both loops. Okay. Chain one. This is anytime you'll chain one. Now do a single crochet back into that same stitch. Then do a single crochet in each stitch, each single crochet all the way around. Sometimes it's not easy getting both loops, but you could do it. And then you keep on going round and round and around until you have as big as you want. Now I put, same thing I did with the pumpkin, put my hook through the middle, pull that out, pull that down the tie, the tail end, and then there's your little, it looks like a little knob, and there it is. And you can make this as long as you want it to look, okay? And that's the two ways you make your stem for your pumpkin, okay? Well, I hope you enjoyed this, making the pumpkins. And like I said, you can use this like stem, any color or any thickness of yarn. A lot of people do their stems so many different ways. It's totally up to you. But I hope you enjoyed this pattern, this video. Sorry, having problems with my words. Anyway, you have a great evening, and God bless.